The steering systems in today's vehicles are failing at unprecedented rates, creating dangerous situations for millions of drivers. While automotive manufacturers promise reliability, they're hiding the brutal truth about steering component failures that create alarming noises when you turn the wheel while stationary. According to verified data from IJP Automotive and multiple service department sources, insufficient power steering fluid ranks as the top cause of whining noises when turning steering wheels while stationary. In this video, you will discover the exact 9 causes creating these concerning noises, the specific warning signs that predict expensive failures, and the documented repair costs you'll face if you don't act immediately. This goes far beyond simple maintenance. Understanding these failure patterns will protect your wallet and prevent dangerous steering loss while driving. Let's decode these critical warning signs before they cost you thousands. Cause number 1, insufficient power steering fluid. Insufficient power steering fluid ranks as the top cause of whining noises when turning steering wheels while stationary. Most vehicles use rack and pinion steering systems requiring high-pressure fluid lubrication through 2 ports on the piston sides. When fluid levels drop below operational requirements, the power steering pump struggles to maintain pressure. Low fluid creates cavitation, where air bubbles mix with remaining fluid and strike the pump impeller, generating loud whining noises. Critical warning signs include whining noise increasing with steering input, progressive difficulty turning the wheel.
As you can see right here, I'm hitting sort of a hard spot in the power steering.
And visible fluid stains beneath parked vehicles.
This is the rack and pinion. The lines could leak right where the nut goes into the component there.
Cause number 2, contaminated power steering fluid. Contaminated power steering fluid breaks down through constant circulation, wearing down system components and triggering pump noise. Contamination occurs as seals deteriorate, allowing debris into the system or through moisture infiltration during service. Contaminated fluid appears dark brown or black with burnt odor, indicating thermal breakdown and loss of protective properties. This degraded fluid cannot provide adequate lubrication, causing increased friction between moving components. Cause number 3, power steering belt failure. Worn out or broken power steering belts create sharp squeaking noises when turning the steering wheel at low speeds or stationary positions. The serpentine belt system drives the power steering pump through pulley engagement, transferring engine power to hydraulic pressure generation. Faulty power steering belts, whether loose or worn, slip against the pump pulley, causing whining as they fail to turn the pump properly. Belt inspection criteria include surface glazing indicating slippage, visible cracks across belt width, and squealing during engine startup. Cause number 4, power steering pump internal wear. Worn power steering pumps develop persistent whining as internal components experience age-related deterioration, creating increased friction and noise under load. The rotary vane pump design utilizes multiple moving components that gradually wear through normal operation. Failing power steering pumps produce constant whining noise that increases with engine RPM, indicating internal component degradation affecting pump efficiency. Cause number 5, air contamination in system. Air contamination in power steering systems causes cavitation when air bubbles strike the pump impeller, creating loud whining noises even when fluid levels appear adequate. Air typically enters through compromised low-pressure return lines or during improper service procedures.
If you have a small leak or a large leak somewhere in the power steering system, this will definitely introduce air into the power steering system.
Air bubbles create trapped air pockets, requiring system flushing to eliminate noise. Detection methods involve removing the power steering fluid reservoir cap and checking for bubbles or froth formation in fluid, confirming air contamination. Cause number 6, steering rack and pinion damage. Bad power steering rack conditions generate whining sounds while turning, sometimes accompanied by worn vane pump issues creating similar noise patterns. The steering rack assembly contains internal seals and bushings that deteriorate over time, affecting hydraulic pressure distribution. Rack damage typically results from contaminated fluid circulation, causing scoring on internal surfaces. This damage compromises precision fit between rack and housing components, allowing pressure leakage and creating characteristic whining during steering operations. Cause number 7, suspension component wear. Worn steering wheel assembly or suspension components produce unusual noises when the steering wheel turns, particularly affecting bearings, bushings, or other steering system elements working in conjunction with the power steering system. Ball joints in the suspension system require proper lubrication to prevent dry cranking noises when turning the steering wheel. When these joints lose lubrication, metal-on-metal contact creates distinctive grinding or creaking sounds during steering operations. Cause number 8, clogged power steering reservoir. The steering tank stores power steering fluid, and if the tank becomes clogged for any reason, it generates noise when turning. The reservoir includes integrated filter system designed to maintain fluid cleanliness, but this filter can become obstructed over time. Reservoir contamination restricts fluid flow to the power steering pump, creating cavitation and associated noise. The restriction forces the pump to work harder to maintain pressure, accelerating component wear throughout the system. Cause number 9, temperature-related issues. Weather changes and temperature drops affect steering system operation, with noise becoming more pronounced during cold conditions. Cold temperatures increase fluid viscosity, making it more difficult for the power steering pump to circulate fluid effectively. Power steering whining occurring only at startup or on damp days before disappearing typically indicates moisture on the drive belt or pulley. This temporary condition resolves as components warm up and moisture evaporates. Understanding the immediate danger. When your steering wheel makes noise while stationary, you're witnessing early system failure stages. Most power steering systems produce minimal humming when turned to full lock, which is normal, but pronounced noise with minimal steering movement indicates serious power steering system issues requiring immediate attention. Power steering pump whine indicates component failure and produces distinctive sound differing from all other engine noises. This whining becomes progressively louder as internal components deteriorate, following predictable patterns where minor noise during full lock steering evolves into constant whining, ultimately leading to complete power steering failure. Cost, reality, and action steps. Proper diagnosis requires systematic evaluation of each potential cause. Start by checking power steering fluid level and quality, then inspect for obvious signs of wear or damage to steering and suspension components. Repair costs include power steering fluid replacement from $50 to $75, belt replacement from $75 to $150, power steering pump replacement from $400 to $800, and steering rack replacement from $800 to $1,500. When you hear steering wheel noise while stationary, take immediate action. Check power steering fluid level first, as this represents the most common cause and easiest repair. Driving with noisy power steering pump is not recommended, as continuing operation can lead to steering difficulties requiring major repairs. The brutal reality about steering noise while stationary is that it never resolves without intervention. Every day you delay addressing the underlying cause, component damage accelerates and repair costs multiply. Understanding these 9 critical causes protects you from expensive surprises and maintains your vehicle's safety and reliability. Have you experienced these steering noises in your vehicle? Share your specific model, year, and symptoms in the comments below. Remember, facts over fantasy when it comes to automotive diagnosis, and we respect your intelligence enough to provide documented truth about steering system failures.